In a world where there's artificial intelligence, there's androids, and there's space travel, is God necessary? Is religion actually a necessary thing? These are the questions being asked in this first season of Raised by Wolves. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down God, religion, androids, artificial intelligence, the overall plot, and theism and atheism and its place in our future. Because as we get more advanced and we become gods in our own right, is the supreme being something that will hinder human race? Or is the supreme being something that can help humans thrive and evolve and get further? And before we dive too deep into the season, we have to look at the very title and the very nature of Raised by Wolves, because that title in itself is a double entendre. The phrase Raised by Wolves is usually associated with somebody who has no manners, is uncouth, and is just, were you raised by wolves? Like, you have no manners. When we look at that phrase and we look at Campion and the children, they're being raised by two androids, in a sense, being raised by wolves, having no manners and being more scientific and analytical about everything. But then if we go back to the original meaning of Raised by Wolves, it dates back to the Roman Empire. Consider the fact that Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, and they were said to be raised by a she-wolf. And then you start to think, she-wolf, mother, she's the wolf who's raising them, and you have two different perspectives. It could be the founders of a whole new civilization, because remember, Rome was the forefather of expanding religion throughout most Eurasia. And the other meaning could be, remember, mother is an android and she doesn't believe in religion, theology. She was created by the atheists to spread the message that science prevails over all. So she's making them unmannered or uncultured by removing religion. So it's two things. Is mother the one that pushes them towards religion or pushes them away from religion? And we see that whole dynamic better represented in Campion. Campion was raised by mother for 12 years. And Campion, while mother told him throughout his life and his siblings, do not pray, there is no religion, only science can solve everything. As life goes on and all his siblings die, because remember, in the very first episode, mother's impregnated with 6 embryos and she has to give birth to all of them. And when she does, of those 6 kids, only Campion survived. And Campion was the only one who survived for a myriad of reasons, but mainly if we look at the first episode, we see that the other kids came out of their tubes and they were perfectly healthy. Campion, on the other hand, was weak, frail compared to the others, and father was about to disseminate him and feed him to the other kids. God, I can't believe I even said that. He was going to feed him to the other kids. But yeah, they're going to break him down and feed him to the other kids. But then when mother held them and gave him skin-to-skin contact, human interaction, well, human android, but you know what I'm saying, skin-to-skin contact, human interaction, he thrived, and he was the only one to survive while the other ones died out either by natural causes, radiation, or just falling off a cliff. I can't believe one of them just fell off a cliff. And we see that natural selection played a big role in this, because Campion was the one who was actually given skin to skin, and he's the one who's more prone to human interaction and feelings, and he's the one who looks towards religion and tries to pray when mother's not around. Even though he was not indoctrinated in religion, he still prayed. Like whenever mom left, he was like, he prayed to a higher being. And that's when we really start to realize, like, are human beings naturally predisposed to pray to a higher power in order for us to make sense of the universe? Because the universe is so much grander than we are. So that begets the question, is that our natural disposition to pray to a higher being when things don't seem to work our way or the things are too grand for us to actually comprehend? It's like, is it? On the flip side of the androids trying to raise the kids to be atheists, we have the Mithraic people, a religious devout group who left the earth. Back in 2145, Earth was rendered inhabitable because there was a holy war that went on between the religious and the atheists. And that war, the religious won. However, Earth suffered the most. And of course, Mother Earth is always going to suffer from mankind's bullshit, no matter what it is. But at this point, the atheists have lost, but the Earth is inhabitable. All the Mithraic people, the people of Earth at this time who won the war, the religious zealots win the war, but the Earth is inhabitable. So they all make their way to different space arcs and leave to find a planet that can sustain life and start the human race or expand the human race beyond that. And the very few atheists who are alive sent off these androids to a planet to raise these kids in an atheistic mindset to one day free the minds of the religious Mithraic people who believe in their sun God's soul, Mithraic in itself is an old Roman term, and you can see that they're very Roman Catholic in their beliefs. They even dress the part. So they're going around the universe spreading their religion, and they come into direct conflict with mother and father on their new homeworld. However, at this point, only Campion has survived. All the other ones have died off to natural causes. And father realizes that maybe there's something wrong with the way him and mother are raising these children. Maybe androids are not meant to raise kids. Maybe it's the fact that kids and human beings especially need other human beings, and with us being together, our belief system is what keeps us strong and allows us to grow. So he decides to contact the Mithraic people. When mother finds this out, we find out that mother is a reprogrammed necromancer droid. In this world, there's various different types of droids. Father, for example, is a caregiver droid, a service droid, and mother is a combat elite killing machine necromancer who can fly, who has this bioorganic scream that just instantaneously kills people with sound waves. And she goes and she destroys the last vestige of the Mithraic people in order to snuff out their religion before it can spread. And she takes the children above the space ark and she tries to raise them on her own behalf in a more atheistic way. But these kids at this point have the mindset that, bruh, we've been grown and accustomed to religion this entire time for the past 12 years. Even though we've been in cryosleep, even though they've been in cryosleep, their mind has been in simulation, and in that simulation they've become devout practitioners of their religion. But when it comes to that devout practice of their religion, we start to see the downsides of both atheism and religion throughout the show, because on the ship itself they are very religious. However, one of the young girls who was in cryostasis asleep at the time was woken up by a high-ranking church official, and she was violated and she was impregnated. Even though they took him and arrested him, the fact that he believes in this cause, this religion, and he's a zealot, and he took advantage of a child, it shows deep reflection on the whole ideology of religion, and it compares again to the Catholic Church in the sense that we have these men in power who are taking advantage of children. And we also see that a few of them are cowards. For example, when Marcus tries to actually go save the kids, the leader in charge, Mon Eminence, who is in charge at the time, does not want his military to go save the kids. It's more of a selfish ploy. So we see while religion gives hope and it gives them a purpose for a brighter future and it gives them hope to keep going, there are people who manipulate that and they use the people's beliefs, which is one of the most powerful weapons in existence, in order to control them and protect their own self-interest. However, on the flip side, when it comes to atheism, there's something cold and callous about non-belief. Everything happens because it happens. It gives you no hope. There's nothing to strive for. Everything is black and white, and there is no compassion in the sense that we don't look out for each other out of love. It's out of a necessity that we have to protect and keep the things going. So when things happen, when Campion's siblings die off, it's like, okay, they just died. Science doesn't know how to save them, but fucking deal with it, Campion. And Campion can't rationalize that because there has to be a reason, there has to be a rhyme for all of this. And if there is no rhyme, there is no purpose. And that's where you have the fundamental clashes of theology and atheology. Purpose. What is the purpose of these droids? What is the purpose of existing? If there is no purpose, what is the point in all of Mother's teachings? What is the point in creating droids to help the human race or the Mithraic race progress? That's a question that's littered throughout the first few episodes. And then we have a shift in characters. For example, the character of Marcus, him and his girlfriend kill off a Mithraic couple and they assume their identity with some plastic surgery. And they spend all this time being surrounded by the religious zealot. And they get to see the beauty of it all while coming from an atheistic background. So they see the dirtiness, but they also see the love that is being spread. And this show is showing us, can mother and father change their mind about religion? Also, can Marcus change his mind about religion? And can Campion, who is the hope for the future, choose between the both sides? Or is there a compromise between the two? Because in a world where the future is so vast, it's hard to believe in a higher power, because everything that we know from higher powers throughout history, we're doing them now. We can clone people, we can create artificial life, we can pretty much travel this world and the universe. So it's like, okay, so where is this deity? If all these things were throughout human history conditions to be some great deic power, how is it that we can now accomplish that? That's something that the show really looks forward to, and the first few episodes explore that. But as we go forward, this show really dives into theology, sci-fi, the meaning of existence as a whole. What does it mean to be human is not necessarily the case in this show. It's what is the purpose of being human? What is the purpose of life? What are we created for? Androids have a purpose. Therefore, even though they're atheistic, they're more theists than they actually led on to believe, because they have a purpose. They serve a maker, a creator. Whoever creates the androids is their God. So who created humans and what are our purpose? That's something that I can't wait for the show to really dive into with the later episodes. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Raised by Wolves. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.